topic today is National Nanny Recognition Week, which is coming up September 18th and goes all the way to September 24th. We're excited to have Kellie Geres with us today. If you're just meeting, I'm Candy of ExperiencedNanny.com. I have over 30 years experience in nannying with families around the world. On this channel, I share my advice, tips, and experiences in childcare, as well as information from and by industry leaders. If this is something that interests you, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell. This way, you'll be notified when I upload new content. If you're just meeting, I'm Candy of ExperiencedNanny.com. I have over 30 years experience in nannying with families around the world. On this channel, I share my advice, tips, and experiences in childcare, as well as information from and by industry leaders. If this is something that interests you, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing the bell. This way, you'll be notified when I upload new content. With over 33 years in private service, Kellie Geres is an industry veteran specializing in working with divorced parents and successfully transitioning to household management. Kellie has worked with her current family for over 19 years, first as the children's nanny, then transitioning to full household management, and oversees a busy household of working parents, adult children, and the most spoilt dog, Riley. She remains active in the industry, assuming several roles, including APNA administrative assistant, overseeing the day-to-day office operations and conference coordination, national co-chair of National Nanny Recognition Week, and co-creator along with Sue Downey of our Nanny Diary, offering digital downloads and printed bound diaries for nannies and parents. In addition, she is the co-founder of a nanny industry blog regarding nannies. Kellie also works with nanny organizations and agencies providing small business and social media services. Kellie was named the 1997 International Nanny Association Nanny of the Year, the 2014 Domestic Estate Management Association Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, and the 2020 INA Meritorious Award recipient. Kellie has presented at several industry events including Nannypalooza, INA, All-Star Nanny Conference, and International Nanny Training Day, and has been interviewed for television, print, and radio. Kellie resides in Washington, D.C., metro area, and when not wearing her many hats in this industry, she enjoys traveling, reading, and a really good glass of wine. Well, I would hope so after all of that. Thank you for joining us.
By the case. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what is National Nanny Recognition Week? How did it get started?
Sure. So National Nanny Recognition Week is essentially, it's a grassroots effort that began in 1998. And it was kind of the brainchild of some established agency owners. And, you know, I'm thinking, let's see, Mary Clerman and Judy Merlin, the late Judy Merlin, and Julie Biondi, and just a dedicated group of nannies who believed in the mission of it, which was at that time, so we were 1998, we were just coming off of a very, very tumultuous year within the nanny industry. A lot of negativity, a lot of negative press. There was a lot of confusion within the industry. There was a very high profile case of an au pair, if I recollect, in the Boston area, who a child died under her care. And it just brought a lot of awareness to the industry, and the nannies and the nanny agencies and the industry itself found itself having to do a lot of education, because nannies are very different from au pairs, although they provide, you know, a level of care for the children. But it was a lot of negative press within our industry. And so National Nanny Recognition Week was really to bring to light the positive aspects of nanny care and what nannies do day in and day out. And so what started as little movements and get-togethers in various cities across the country, I was in Atlanta at the time, and we met in Centennial Park and just kind of opened it up to nannies and agencies to come out and meet and just, kick off this event. Mm-hmm. There were events across the country, and the biggest event was nannies met in Washington, D.C. Nannies and agencies and supporters met in Washington, D.C. and marched on the steps of the Capitol. So from there, it has just continued. It has grown in ways that I don't think anyone could have foreseen. It evolved into International Nanny Recognition Week several years ago when Louise Dunham in Australia reached out and said she wanted to recognize that in Australia. And so she was the first. And then we have Helen in London, and then Swiss nannies. And so it has just really grown in recognition. And so, we are an international effort these days. It takes place the last full week of September each year, and so it kind of fluctuates, but it runs Sunday to Saturday, but the last full week of September. And it's continued to grow and evolve, and as long as we have the dedicated nannies and agencies and supporters that we do, I don't see an end to it.
Fantastic. That's a great story. I didn't know how it had started.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Thank you. And
Mm-hmm.
You've talked a little bit about how it evolved over the years and how now it's become international. Have you seen it grow exponentially in the last maybe 10 years, or has it been a gradual growth?
It kind of a little bit of both. I mean, it gradually grows over and over and over. But I will say in the last 10 years, definitely there has been a huge growth. And the reason for that is social media. In 98, I was on a work trip with my family, and it was very last minute. And I said, hey, I have this project I'm working on. I have to be able to work on this on my off time. And so the dad at the time that I was working set me up in one of his offices, and I literally sat there faxing, paper faxes in his office to media, just over and over and over again to this. I mean, there are dozens of faxes to media outlets about NNRW. Today it's an email and a Facebook post. So, yes. But, definitely, the growth of social media has definitely helped our industry or our event grow. It's helped our industry, yes. grow. And but within NRW, it definitely has helped us reach an audience that we hadn't been able to reach before.
And talking about audience, are you noticing that parents are getting more involved, or is it just still mostly nannies and nanny agencies getting involved?
I wish more parents would be involved, but I do know that there are parents out there that will recognize it. I think a big factor is really the agencies, the online sites, and the industry services. I know that GTM, Payroll, and Homework Solutions, and even Care.com will share information with their families about NNRW, and that's huge for us. Mm-hmm. So I know it's reaching the parents, and I know that agencies, even just from small, one-person brick and mortars to fully staffed, and that agencies are also sharing the information. and they're hosting events. So I know that the parents are aware of it, and as more agencies and more businesses are sharing about it, the parents are learning about it. It's getting them to act upon it, which is, I think, the hard part. And that's kind of, I think, going to be a continual hurdle.
And what is one of the most fun activities that you have seen being put together to celebrate nannies?
I can't think of one specific. I mean, for me, it's my first one. It was being in Centennial Park in Atlanta, and really just being part of history. We can look back on it now, almost 25 years later, and say, I was a part of nanny history. And so for me, that was fun. But I look at it now and I see just the creativity and the passion that nannies and agencies have today, to recognize and appreciate their nannies. And so when you see them renting out a restaurant and having everyone come and enjoy a dinner, I mean, that's amazing. When you see, nannies, I'm in the DC area, we used to host like a luncheon, and nannies, the organizers of the group AdCan, they would send letters to the employers to say, hey, your nanny is coming to our appreciation picnic, and we'd love if you would send a letter, telling us a little bit about your nanny. And we would get there and they would have them framed, and the nanny would get to take that home with them. And it was a complete surprise to them. So those were always fun to do. So it's the imaginations and the passion that those who are doing the events that really stick out to me. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It could be having a few friends over and everybody have a potluck in your apartment, or just meeting for a nice lunch and enjoying each other's company. So it doesn't have to be big. It's just putting in effort and recognizing it. So those just really stick out to me.
Fantastic, thank you. And if parents and nannies want to learn more about National Nanny Recognition Week, how can they get that information? Where would they find it?
Sure. So we have an amazing website. It's nnrw.org, O-R-G, and it has the history. It has ways you can appreciate your nanny. It has ways agencies can get involved. For nannies, there's a letter that you can print out and casually leave on the counter for your families to find out. Our nanny diary, we have a free download. It's dates to remember, and we do them by year. So it's, Easter's on this day, and Labor Day's on this day, and National Nanny Recognition
That's a good place to
Week
put
is
it.
this week. So we casually just stick it in there. Yeah. So that's available on the Our Nanny Diary website. But yeah, I think, one creative way was, nannies just asking their employers, hey, could I get off an hour early? There's a bunch of nannies meeting, Thursday night to celebrate National Nanny Recognition Week, and I'd love to go. So just finding subtle ways to kind of drop it in a conversation, and it opens up the door for them to be, oh, what is that? Or, we've heard of families then going and Googling it and then surprising the nanny when they come into work. So it's nice to see that.
Fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like nannies, parents, agencies to know about National Nanny Recognition Week?
Yeah, I think, one thing that, social media has been great for our industry. It's been great for our event. But there's also kind of a negativity to it, in that it's not about the gifts that you get. It's not about how much an employer or a friend or a family is spending on you. It's not a monetary amount. You know, NNRW is plain and simple, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for allowing me to be the parent I want to be when I come home and be, you know, the employee or the boss that I am when I go to work. And I think if anything, the past 2.5 years have shown us, you know, how integral nannies are to childcare, and you know that they are able to adapt, and they care about what they do in the families, and so just hearing a thank you goes a long way. And I think as parents and nannies, you get so caught up in the day to day, and you're pulled in so many directions that sometimes, you know, we forget to say that. And, you know, so NNRW is just, you know, one way, one event to do that. But I don't want nannies to get caught up in seeing, you know, oh, I came in and my employers had a bonus for me, or they had this or this or this. It's not about that. And I know Sue Downey will, as she's said in the past, she kind of turns it around, and you know, it's an opportunity for nannies to say, hey, you know, it's National Nanny Recognition Week, but I'm thanking you for being such great nanny employers. So it can kind of go both ways.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you so much for all that information. It was really, really great. And I will be posting the links at the bottom of the video. And if anybody wants to learn more, obviously nnrw.org is where you go. Thank you very much for being here, Kellie.
Thanks for having me, Candy.